he told me that you'd need 245s and an extra 15 to do cruise ships. Is that true? Would you say
Yeah,
for you
yeah.
as well?
It depends on the cruise lines, and most of them got to work clean too. And and of course, when they take out things like you can't do religious jokes or you can't do political jokes, there's a big chunk. So I don't know how much material you can come up with about bloody pot plants or vegetables or something else. You really because some of that stuff's just fodder. But they do, some of them do put restrictions on, which is bad. But others that you do, it just depends on the cruise line. So I'm lucky enough now I'm working on a cruise line where I do one like 40-minute adult show and one 20-minute clean show. So, that's, oh, it's a joy. It's an absolute joy. Because, when you do the ones where you got to do 45-minute clean shows, obviously, and again, it depends on the crowd because, like I say, on a ship, it's a hostage situation. They're not there to see comedy. They're just there because they're stuck on a ship and it's like zombie land, and they all walk down to the theatre and then they sit themselves in there and they think to themselves at the start, well, I hope this is good. They don't go, this is going to be funny, where you go see a comic that you know or you like, you go, well, this is going to be great. I can't wait for that night. This is righto. Oh, I wonder if this is going to be funny. I'll sit at the back in case it's not and I can walk out. It's a completely different mentality with an audience here too. So, and I always find that when you say we do the 2 45-minute shows, generally they don't know who most of the comics are on ships, and your first 45-minute show will kill, right? Because one, there's no expectation from the crowd. That's the one thing. Like, they have no expectations, and if you do really well, it's great. But the problem is that your next show, they have an expectation, and no matter what it is, you'll never live up to it. So your second show, they'll always say, no matter what, they will always say, "Oh, your first show was better." Now you could swap the material around from the both shows and do your second show first and your first show second. They'll say exactly the same thing. Oh, your first show, because of that expectation. It's very, very weird dynamic on a ship. Yeah.
Oh, but uh, do are they? What do you make of cruise ship audiences? Are they a good crowd or are they a tough
Again, it
crowd as
probably
well?
differs. Yeah, no, it differs. Like, it depends on the ship, I think. Like some of the high-end ships, 6-star, 5-star ships, there are people over their 70s who paid $250,000 to go on a 2-month cruise, all-inclusive sort of thing. So they're very well off. They're a bit different crowd. They've seen everything, they've done everything, and again, they just turn on, and they're the smaller ships as well. But they're tough crowds to do because like I mean, even now you couldn't come out and do like my mother-in-law jokes with them either, because they'd be like, oh God, So it's very hard to do. Where I think you want to get those probably people in between 30 and 60, maybe 30 and 60, who are the best audiences. They get to. And it has been interesting too, because like you do get to chat to people because you are stuck on a ship, of course. It's not like the end of the show and you go home and you never see these people again. You imagine going to work and then the next day everybody's there at breakfast and looking at you. So, and then they want to tell you jokes. But yes, and it's been nice feedback from some of those people that actually don't get to see comedy. That's the one thing that ships do, is it exposes new audiences to comedy. Because on land, people don't make the effort to go out and see it. So it's quite a surprise. So if you're a decent comic, you'll win people over and you'll make them realise that there's almost a whole nother world of comedy out there away from mainstream media that we get told comedy is. We get told radio DJs are comedians and people on some panel shows are comedians. You put them on stage in front of a live audience, they wouldn't survive for 2 minutes. But, so I think in that respect, ships are good for building an awareness for the live comedy scene.